designed the synchrometer to locate and identify toxins, parasites, viruses, and bacteria. And she created the zapper to kill them.
Here is a synchrometer, which is a circuit together with this resonance box, which can analyze your tissues without going into you to see what is there. And it is just a one transistor oscillator. It's a very simple little circuit that you see in many other larger circuits. But it is so simple that I would like people to be able to make this. And that's why I have the instructions for it in the books. The resonance box is attached to it. This is where you put your samples. You would put a sample of your body on one plate and a sample of the item you're testing for on the other plate.
Michael McElray is a nutritional consultant and a personal trainer.
What Dr. Clark said, and what she's already talked about, is that parasite and pollution is basically causing disease. And when we say parasite, what we're really talking about is microorganism. The virus is inside the bacteria. The bacteria is inside the parasite. And in fact, we've even found that mold is inside the parasite, and certain funguses are inside the parasite. And this isn't something new, and this isn't just theory. This has all been proven. What's really interesting is how these parasites and different microorganisms found their way into the body. And what Dr. Clark has proven is that the immune system over the last few years has been depressed. If we don't have stomach acid that could kill these harmful bacteria, then these things will crawl through the body and take over the biological terrain at will. What Dr. Clark's proven is that these parasites that normally are killed by the stomach acid are now crawling through the body because we went down to the local drugstore and we picked up the Alka-Seltzer because we were suffering from acid indigestion. What was that? Well, what it was is we were eating food that properly couldn't be digested. And we were eating too much food that's deficient in enzyme. And I'm not talking about theory here. I'm talking about practical ideas that have already been proven. When we overcook food, we kill the enzymes. When we kill the enzymes, we ask our stomach acid to do the job for us. In doing that and over-processing our food, we've reduced our stomach acid. Hydrochloric acid is our first level of defense, which is now missing. The second level of defense, which seems to be more frightening, is that once the parasites are inside the body, the liver has been given the capability to, as a second shot, to kill these microorganisms. Now, when the liver accumulates aflatoxin, which she has identified as patulin mold, which we find on many fruits, especially grapes and apples and pears, and it's the brown spot that we see in the fruit, then what we see is the liver gets chronically weak. And at that point, what she discovered using her synchrometer, which we'll talk about, she's actually found that the weakness caused by the aflatoxin and the patulin mold has actually allowed certain other chemicals to weaken the liver even further, including alcohol. Believe it or not, people that don't drink alcohol still have alcohol in their body because alcohol is a natural byproduct of the fermentation of fruit. So if you're eating a tremendous amount of rotten fruit, which you may not know because your banana just had a brown spot, or you ate your actual mold and your fungus, once that's in the liver, it loves a dark, cold place. And 98.6 degrees is fairly cold for mold. It'll grow like a petri dish in your liver. Once it starts to grow and alcohol becomes a byproduct, we now have a depressed immune system in the liver. Parasites can now take over your biological terrain. And what we used to think, and what Dr. Clark has now proven, is that parasites used to live only in the colon, according to many scientists and researchers. Well, what she's now discovered is that these parasites are crawling through the body at will. And this is a very frightening thought, because if parasites, their eggs and larvae, are crawling through the body, then they're also seeking out tissues that are extremely nutritious to them, which is the brain, which is the heart, which is the liver, and other body parts, that once these body parts are invaded by parasites, other diseases will follow, as you've pointed out. And Dr. Clark found that the one real dangerous parasite is the Phaseolopsis buski. It's a fairly large parasite, and it's actually hosted in the snail. Any research that you look up in the library says that the Phaseolopsis buski is found in snails in China. What Dr. Clark did is she sent around the world for samples of snails. She then took the snail and she found a specific chemical toxin in the snail called orthophosphotyrosine. Every time she found the presence of orthophosphotyrosine, she found the Phaseolopsis buski in the snail that she brought in from Alaska, from northern Ontario in Canada, from Colorado, from California, from New York. Guess what? The snail is everywhere on the planet. It's crawling on your garden. It's crawling up the side of your house. And that friendly little snail is carrying the Fasciolopsis buski in all of its stages inside of its body, which is really harmless when you look at the big picture, until the cow eats the snail or its stages off the grass, and then the Fasciolopsis is now in the cow, and when we drink the milk or we eat the beef or the pig or the sheep, we're actually eating the parasite stages. And to make it a little bit more dangerous, when you start spraying your lawn with sheep manure or cow manure, or you start using these types of manures in organic gardens, you now have a second problem. You're actually putting animal feces on your food, and we're eating it. Because there's no way, Tony, to properly wash all of our food to the extent that we really need to. Now, up until the last few years, we've been able to depend on our stomach acid to kill this parasite. But now with the addition of isopropyl alcohol, which Dr. Clark has proven can accumulate in the liver if the aflatoxin in the mold is there, the Fasciolopsis is now able to hatch in the liver and then run through the body at will and seek out a tumor site, and at that point it will have a metabolic byproduct that she's found to be orthophosphotyrosine, and when that's present 100% of the time,
nearly everything, nearly all the produce has dirt on it. How could it be otherwise? It was grown in the soil. You can't sterilize them. So the dirt that's on them has parasite eggs and, well, eggs primarily, on it. All different kinds. Roundworms, flatworms, anything you can think of that lives in dirt or is spread through dirt, namely has had animal leftovers in it, is on the food. It's cleaner than if you had just pulled it up, of course.